It was a picture-perfect start to King Frederik's reign, a handsome new king taking over the Danish throne with his elegant Australian-born queen by his side. The world watched in admiration as King Frederik X and Queen Mary stepped into their new roles following Queen Margrethe II's historic abdication. The unity, the symbolism, and the love between the couple captured hearts both in Denmark and across the globe. But as the months roll by, a noticeable pattern has begun to emerge, one that many royal watchers can no longer ignore. Queen Mary has been conspicuously absent from many of King Frederik's most high-profile royal tours. And while the palace has maintained a calm exterior, rumors are swirling behind the scenes. Could this be a matter of distance, or is duty now pulling them in opposite directions? At first, it seemed like a one-off. King Frederik embarked on a solo visit shortly after the coronation, and the public accepted it as a reasonable division of royal responsibilities. But then came another tour. And another. Each time, King Frederik appeared without Queen Mary at his side, smiling dutifully for the cameras, greeting foreign dignitaries, and representing Denmark on the global stage. Meanwhile, Queen Mary remained largely grounded in Denmark or appeared at smaller-scale events closer to home. As this pattern deepened, speculation among royal analysts, journalists, and the general public began to gain traction. Was this the beginning of a strategic royal shift, or sign of a more personal challenge? To understand the current royal dynamic, one must look back at the foundation of their marriage. Queen Mary, born Mary Donaldson, was a dynamic and career-driven woman long before she ever met Crown Prince Frederik. Their love story, born at the Sydney Olympics in 2000, was one of fairy tales. She gave up her homeland, her privacy, and her career to become Denmark's future queen. Over the years, Mary not only fulfilled her royal duties but became one of the most admired royals in Europe. She championed causes like domestic violence prevention, women's rights, and mental health, often traveling internationally for her advocacy. Her role was never one of a silent consort. She was, and remains, a leader in her own right. So why now, at the very moment when Frederik needs his queen the most, is she stepping back? Some insiders believe it may be a matter of recalibrating roles. With Frederik now king, his obligations have expanded exponentially. He is now Denmark's top diplomatic representative, expected to be present at global events, state dinners, and bilateral meetings. Queen Mary, meanwhile, may be carving out a distinct role, one rooted more in social change and domestic issues. The theory suggests that rather than shadowing the king on every tour, she is choosing, or perhaps being encouraged, to focus on areas where her strengths lie. It's a modern take on monarchy, one that mirrors other European royal couples who have divided their focus to increase their overall impact. But others are not so sure. Some royal experts point to subtle but telling moments in public appearances. The physical distance, the absence of warm gestures, the increasing rarity of shared engagements. While it would be premature to speculate on marital strain, the optics do raise questions. Adding to the complexity is Queen Mary's deep dedication to her children. As the royal family transitions into a new era, Crown Prince Christian is being gradually introduced to more public roles. Meanwhile, Princess Isabella and the twins, Prince Vincent and Princess Josephine, are still in school. Queen Mary has always been a hands-on mother. It's entirely plausible that she is choosing to remain closer to home to provide stability for her children during a moment of national and familial change. In this view, her absences from royal tours are not signs of detachment but of deep maternal devotion. Still, it begs the question, must a modern queen choose between motherhood and monarchy? Critics argue that appearances matter, especially in monarchy. A united front between king and queen is more than a symbol, it's a reassurance to the people. When Queen Mary is missing from major events, it leaves a vacuum. International observers notice, foreign media speculate, and Danish citizens begin to wonder. The Danish monarchy has long prided itself on approachability and relatability. King Frederik and Queen Mary have personified that ideal for 2 decades. But now, cracks in that narrative are beginning to form, not necessarily because of scandal or failure, but because of the weight of expectation and the ever-shifting role of modern royalty. Palace insiders, of course, are staying tight-lipped. Official statements, when issued, cite scheduling conflicts, separate engagements, or personal reasons. But behind those carefully crafted words, many believe a more complex story is unfolding. Some sources hint at internal palace restructuring, an ongoing negotiation over how King Frederik and Queen Mary will define their reign. Others whisper of tensions, not necessarily romantic but logistical. The pressure of constant public scrutiny. The relentless demand of appearances. The balance between personal passions and institutional expectations. In many ways, Queen Mary's current choices may reflect the very essence of a modern queen's dilemma. Does she follow her husband dutifully, side by side on every royal tour, reinforcing the image of unity? Or does she forge her own path, leveraging her platform to pursue meaningful work that may not always align with the king's calendar? It's a question that speaks to broader conversations about gender, leadership, and the evolution of monarchy in the 21st century. What cannot be denied is Queen Mary's enduring popularity. Even in her absence, she commands attention. When she does appear, whether it's opening a center for abused women, visiting a school, or speaking at an international forum, her presence is magnetic. Her fashion choices make headlines. Her speeches are dissected. Her every move is analyzed. This is not a queen in the shadows. This is a woman carefully managing her image, her role, and perhaps her own boundaries. Still, the emotional undertones of this chapter in the royal story cannot be ignored. King Frederik, by all accounts, remains committed to his duties. But observers have noted a certain loneliness in his solo appearances. A longing, perhaps. He has always described Queen Mary as his soulmate, and theirs has been a marriage built on love, respect, and shared purpose. The lack of her presence, especially in his most pivotal moments as king, is deeply felt. And for a nation that has grown to see them as a team, the current divide, however practical or temporary, feels poignant. In the end, the truth may lie somewhere in between distance and duty. Queen Mary may be making difficult choices in the service of both her family and her country. King Frederik may be shouldering the burdens of kingship with quiet strength and unwavering resolve. Their paths, for now, may diverge in schedule, but perhaps not in spirit. Denmark watches, waits, and hopes that the royal couple's bond remains as strong as ever, even in this time of transformation. Queen Mary's decision to remain in Denmark while King Frederik travels abroad has given rise to powerful imagery. A monarch on the move, alone, a queen rooted at home, deliberate and poised. These choices are never made lightly in royal households. Every absence, every engagement missed, every moment apart, is weighed against a complex matrix of public expectation, internal protocol, and private necessity. And yet, for all the thought behind it, this visible separation continues to stir unease among even the most loyal supporters of the royal couple. Recent images of King Frederik representing Denmark in countries like Sweden, Norway, and Germany have only intensified speculation. Dressed immaculately, offering firm handshakes and polished speeches, the king performs his duties flawlessly. But for many, the absence of Queen Mary beside him strips these engagements of the emotional warmth that once defined their joint appearances. These were the couple known for their shared smiles, subtle hand-holding, and occasional exchanged glances that spoke volumes. Now, with Queen Mary's increasingly solo presence back in Denmark, many can't help but wonder, is the royal couple sending a message, or struggling to reconcile the private and public halves of their lives? Journalists and royal commentators have tried to interpret the silence. Some argue that Queen Mary is deliberately stepping back to allow King Frederik the spotlight in his first year as monarch. This theory suggests a deeply strategic move, an understanding between husband and wife that the new king must now establish his own authority, his own image, and his own path. In this reading, Queen Mary is not absent, but rather allowing space for King Frederik's individual identity as sovereign to flourish. It's a theory that honors her respect for duty and her long-standing role as both consort and confidant. Yet, for others, the timing seems odd. After 2 decades of walking in perfect lockstep, why would Queen Mary choose this precise moment, when public unity matters most, to retreat from the international stage? Could this be the result of personal strain, not political strategy? While no credible source has confirmed such tensions, royal watchers remain alert to signs. The infrequency of joint appearances, the tight expressions in recent photographs, and the cautious language in official press releases. It would be naive to assume that even the most admired royal couples are immune to pressure. especially when that pressure comes from balancing the role of parent, spouse, and public symbol. Indeed, the role of motherhood appears to be central in Queen Mary's current decision-making. Insiders close to the palace suggest that the Queen is deeply involved in the daily lives of her 4 children, especially as Prince Christian steps into more visible responsibilities. With Isabella entering adulthood, and the twins growing rapidly into their own personalities, Queen Mary is said to be prioritizing stability, structure, and emotional presence at home. In doing so, she may be redefining what it means to be a queen consort, not as a shadow to the king, but as a pillar of the royal household. And yet, this redefining comes with risks. In the eyes of the public, unity between monarch and consort has always symbolized strength. Think of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, vastly different in personality, yet almost always together at significant moments. The visual of a royal couple standing side by side reassures the public of continuity, of cohesion, of collective leadership. Without Queen Mary, King Frederik appears more isolated, and that imagery does not go unnoticed by the press. In tabloids and broadsheets alike, speculation turns into narrative. And narratives, once shaped, are hard to reverse. Some royal insiders also speak of Queen Mary's increased focus on her philanthropic passions. The Mary Foundation, her long-standing initiative, continues to grow in ambition and reach. From tackling domestic violence and loneliness to supporting vulnerable youth, Queen Mary has always shown a passion for deep, transformative change. Those close to her say that she now sees herself less as a ceremonial figure and more as an active social advocate. And while such a role may not always involve glittering tours or global photo ops, it is, in her view, equally vital to the future of the monarchy. After all, a modern queen must speak to modern issues. This divergence in duties, Frederik as global statesman, Mary as domestic change maker, might signal not division, but evolution. Yet even evolution brings discomfort. For Denmark's older generation, the sight of a king traveling solo evokes a sense of incompleteness. For younger Danes, however, the Queen's visible engagement with local communities may resonate more. In this tension lies the challenge of a monarchy straddling 2 centuries, trying to honor tradition while remaining relevant. International observers have also taken note. During recent state visits, foreign dignitaries reportedly inquired about the Queen's absence, even privately expressing surprise. In diplomatic circles, the presence of both monarch and consort is often taken as a mark of prestige. Their absence, even when explained, can subtly affect how a royal house is perceived. While Denmark remains highly respected, the shifting optics of its royal couple may influence soft power in ways not immediately apparent to the public. And so, a question lingers: is this temporary distance a carefully planned strategy, a mutual agreement between 2 seasoned royals? Or is it a symptom of deeper complexities within the marriage, personal decisions layered beneath layers of protocol and responsibility? Perhaps the truth is far more human than headlines suggest. Consider the emotional toll of their journey. From the moment Mary married into the Danish royal family, she has carried the immense weight of expectation. She left behind not only her homeland but her anonymity. She learned a new language, adapted to a rigid institution, and bore the constant scrutiny of both press and public. Alongside this, she raised 4 children and built a foundation now recognized across Europe. Such a journey comes with inevitable moments of exhaustion, reflection, and need for personal space. King Frederik, too, has faced his own emotional crucible. The transition from crown prince to king was not just ceremonial, it was deeply personal. After decades living in his mother's long and steady shadow, Frederik has finally stepped into the spotlight alone. That step, while historic, is not without pressure. And without Queen Mary beside him at these key moments, the weight may feel heavier than ever. Then there's the broader institutional context. The Danish royal house is navigating a time of global change. Monarchies around the world are under increasing pressure to justify their existence. Public funds, accountability, and relevance are now daily concerns. King Frederik and Queen Mary are not just managing their personal lives, they're managing the future of a 1,000-year-old institution. And in that crucible, every choice becomes political. Every absence becomes a headline. And yet, through it all, one cannot overlook the enduring affection between the king and queen. Despite the physical distance on tours, they continue to speak of each other with warmth and respect in interviews. Their children appear happy, well-adjusted, and proud. The palace, while silent on gossip, has not once indicated marital strife. It may be that what we are witnessing is not a separation, but a recalibration. If so, then this moment in their reign may come to define their legacy. Rather than following a script, they are writing their own. King Frederik is embracing his role as the face of the nation. Queen Mary is embracing hers as its heart. Together, they may be reshaping the monarchy into something more nuanced, more balanced, and more aligned with the expectations of a 21st century Denmark. Still, questions remain. Will Queen Mary rejoin King Frederik for upcoming tours? Will the couple address the public curiosity in a future interview? Or will they continue to let their actions, and silences, speak for themselves? Only time will tell. Until then, the world watches. Every appearance, every absence, every smile or glance is scrutinized. Because, in the end, royalty is not just about crowns and titles. It is about connection. The connection between monarch and people. Between king and queen. Between tradition and change. And so, as we close this in-depth look at the evolving relationship between King Frederik and Queen Mary, we invite you to reflect. What do you think lies at the heart of Queen Mary's repeated absences from King Frederik's royal tours? Is it distance, or is it duty? Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment your thoughts below. Your voice matters in shaping how we understand the ever-changing story of Europe's most compelling royal couple.